This is Webster Tarpley reporting to you from Washington, D.C. The world financial situation is entering into a new period of chaos, a new phase in the breakdown crisis of the imperialist banking system, a new stage of the disintegration of the existing currencies and banks. And the focus right now is Ireland. Yesterday was September 30th, 2010, Black Thursday in Dublin. Black Thursday because it was a report by the Irish government, by the feckless group of bankers, puppets that run Ireland. The coalition is led by the Fianna Fáil party, accent on fail, and Brian Cowen, the Irish prime minister. So this group of bankers' boys report on their stewardship, and it is the attempt to bail out the Anglo-Irish Banking Corporation. The Anglo-Irish Banking Corporation, which has already received 4 billion euros in 2009, will receive 19 billion euros over the next 15 years and needs 6 billion on top of it. So the basic upshot of this is that the attempt to bail out these derivatives banks, these derivatives speculators, is going to cost Ireland 50 billion with a B, euros, not even dollars, but euros, 50 billion euros. That's what it's going to cost. Basically, this is a new Iceland. In Iceland, it happened all at once in the fall of 2008 with the extortion attempts by the British and Dutch governments on the IceSave question, right? The Landsbanki and so forth. But now, this time around, it's Ireland, and we're told now that because of the need to shell out $50 billion to Anglo-Irish Banking Corporation, Allied Irish Banks, the Bank of Ireland, and some others, 50 billion euros. So that will mean that the debt of Ireland, all incurred for these derivatives mongers, these derivative speculators, that Ireland will reach a 32% deficit. That is to say, in the coming year, Ireland's deficit on the budget side, all payments to banks, not profligate spending, not unemployment insurance, nothing like that, not the social safety net. That's going to be chewed up. But it's going to be a 32% deficit. 32% of the GDP will be the deficit in the budget. So the budget deficit, about 1/3 of the gross domestic product of the entire country. And with that, Ireland will reach a point where the total public debt accumulated, right, the total outstanding obligations of the Irish state will reach 100% of gross domestic product. This is, of course, a consequence of Ireland really following the lead of Gordon Brown and the British Labour Party in setting up these bank bailouts, right? Remember, it started with Northern Rock in October of 2007 already, right? It happened well before the New York banking crisis of September 2008. It was the summer before that the Northern Rock began to fall apart. Now, of course, this means, according to the markets, according to the international speculative cabals, the conspiracies, the cartels, the gangs, that Spain and Portugal, of course, are coming soon, and Greece, of course, remains in deep trouble. On Thursday, Moody's Investors Service downgraded Spain's bonds from AAA to AA1 because of weak growth prospects and deteriorating finances. Well, let me always add again, Moody's Investors Service should all be in jail. They should all be in the penitentiary doing heavy, hard labor because of what they did to the public of the world, the investing public, the little people, in maintaining their high ratings on various kinds of derivatives-based toxic paper into September and even maybe October of 2008. They should be in jail. They should not be judging a sovereign state like Spain. They should be languishing, incarcerated in durance vile in the various penitentiary institutions of that state. So the question, of course, then for Ireland is, other than putting a bunch of these characters in jail, which is always good, what do you actually do? The idea here is that the Irish state is resisting the obvious necessary shock therapy for the bankers. Let's have some shock therapy for the bankers. Anglo-Irish Bank Corp has been nationalized, and it's still it continues to generate these losses. It's got to be liquidated. It's got to be put through Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There's no point in sacrificing 1/3 of your economy for nothing in 1 year. 1/3 of your whole economy is going to be debt because of these derivative speculators. There's no point in this. Put this thing through bankruptcy liquidation under the supervision of a judge. And as you go through it, when you come across a collateralized debt obligation, you take that over to the shredder and you shred it. Or if it's an electronic book entry, you delete it. You destroy it. You obviate it. It has no value. It is not economic value. It's the opposite. Collateralized debt obligations and, of course, credit default swaps, as well as other kinds of derivatives, structured investment vehicles that contain these, have simply got to be wiped out. And you notice from the discussion here in the Wall Street Journal, which is so worried about profligate spending when it comes to the social safety net, right, the unemployment insurance. Rupert Murdoch doesn't like Social Security and unemployment insurance. The question is, how much pain should the stockholders and the bondholders of Anglo-Irish Bank absorb? Well, they should face the consequences of their derivative speculation, which is to be liquidated. The goal, according to the Wall Street Journal on Wednesday, September 29th, the goal is to convince investors. The Irish government faces a complex challenge to convince investors that it can bear the cost of fixing state-owned Anglo-Irish Bank without spooking markets by pushing creditors to pick up the tab. What does that mean? The government in Dublin could reduce the costs of bailing out Anglo-Irish by taking a tougher line with creditors, pressuring them to accept bigger than expected losses on their bond holdings. While such a move would likely prove politically popular, it could damage Ireland's reputation among global investors and by extension make things tougher for its other banks. Are we all insane? Because of the reputation of Ireland among global investors, the entire country is supposed to be flayed alive and immolated and destroyed? No. This bank has got to be shut down. It's got to be, now that it's nationalized, put it through liquidation and destroy the derivatives, delete the derivatives, abrogate the derivatives, shred the derivatives. We'll be back in just a minute.